G'day guys, welcome back to another video with Enno here from Fantasy Take TV. Today I'm going to be going through a few different structures, talk about my team, what I'm sort of tossing up at the minute. A lot went on the weekend in those practice games and a lot of players put their hand up and just sort of trying to figure out what structure I go with and what picks I really want to nail down and look at. There's, as I said, quite a lot put their hand up. Gave you something to think about. A few of them have obviously entered my team here, but some are also not. So I thought we'd go over that in a quick little video. I'm not going to go too long. Obviously, it's not like a sort of team reveal. Obviously, before round one, a lot of things are going to change over the next week. I can already see it. So just more of a discussion, quick discussion with myself, and then let me know in the comments what you think of what I'm going to say. But let me know what you're thinking. Players that are giving you the biggest headaches in the comments down below, and give the video a like. I don't really ever ask for likes, but I guess it does help the algorithm. So first of all, in defense, I think these two 600k guys are now my two favorite. I think Stewart's still up there, but Doherty really looks like he's going well. I know I think initially had him ranked like fourth out of all those guys at the start of preseason, but look, his scoring is quite it's just unreal, really. Like at halfback, even, or in the midfield, it doesn't really matter for him. We saw what he did sort of all those years ago when he sort of first burst onto the scene as that dashing halfback, and he went sort of 115, 120. Like that's what he can do. So whilst I think Stewart can do the same, I don't mind Carlton's sort of fixture early on. He's going to do quite well there. He obviously doesn't have that bye that Stewart does, so I'll probably look to pick up Stewart around after his bye. So I do like Doherty and Dawson as my two favourites there, and Dawson as well. He's just going to be the main general down back, get a lot of kicks, a lot of the kick outs, and then I just like him for his consistency. So they're my two. In regards to defense overall and the structure, I moved back towards this with having two of them. I initially sort of was looking at one and maybe a 500k guy like a Dacos or Young. I was looking at maybe just one altogether with one 600k guy. I just had Dawson and then straight to Yo for some periods of time when it sort of looked like we might have more defender rookies than we do. But I think for now, with Yo's a lock to me. He didn't play his best game on the weekend, but he just needed to get through it. Jinby looked really good in limited game time as well. Hopefully, he plays round one, which I think he should. McKenna, still probably up in the air, him and Wilmot, I guess, for spots at Brisbane, but I think one of them at least is going to get a game. We'll wait and see whether it's two. Constable in that role, if he's playing, which I think he will at least to begin with, is very fieldable and probably should be on all our fields. And then Chincotta sort of played decently well. It was more of a lockdown, but did find or junk it up, I guess you could say, in sort of the fourth quarter, and I think got himself to about a 70. So probably don't want him on my field, but hopefully one of him or Cowan plays, and probably would be Chincotta, I'd say. Depends what they want. If they want more of a lockdown than Cowan, who's maybe more of a rebound, it depends. But moving back towards, as I was getting to this point, is two 600k guys to sort of bolster it a little bit more, and that's obviously come with some sacrifices on other lines, which we'll get to, but I think these are my two favourite. Seeing it a lot in the court. As I said, I could still possibly go Stewart, depends what I like, but for now I've got those two. So that's a defence, and then I'll probably mention McVee as well from Melbourne, who was pretty much just playing lockdown on Dusty the whole game, didn't get to do or be involved in much rebounding. That was left to sort of May and Bowie and others. So maybe you don't really want him near your field, but I think he'll still probably play early. It's just, if there's other options. Right now I've got him on the mid-bench, of course, but, we'll see. Now the midfield. There's teams I made without these two 700k guys, and I'm still obviously not set on it. It is spending up quite a bit. I think I will start one. Whether or not I start two is the question, and I guess I'll get into it now. If I trade Clary out, as you can see, one guy I don't have is Warple, who really impressed. I don't say impressed, but with the opportunity he had 30 touches, played mostly forward in the fourth quarter, and obviously could have had more. He's one I've sort of just found a way to get rid of in my team in the last 24 hours. I mean, Sheed is one I had a lot during preseason before the games, and then I sort of moved him to Warple pretty quickly after that, and she didn't really look too impressive on the weekend. And I think Warple's probably got a little bit more upside, but I just haven't found room for that 300k mid-pricer. And obviously, this team I had now is the 12 primo team. So if we move towards, say getting back a Warple, you sort of got 400k to work with. And so does that get, do you want to go back up to a Cogs, for instance, which is sort of what I had, and go really big in the forwards, have 5 primos and Flanders, have Warple, have the 3. That's another option if you want to split the Clary money into Cogs and Warple over, Clary and a rookie, or Laird and rookie, whoever you prefer. That's the question I'm asking myself. Does it look better? Is it better for cash gen, or maybe scoring stability? Depends what you think of McLean, I guess, or maybe Radicalia is someone you got there who, again, I don't have in this side just due to money restrictions. So that's a question. Bond's a lock. Don't really want to speak much on him. I think Tom Green the same. Both just proved that they're going to be great picks this year. Bond probably pushing for M1. Maybe not, just because of the amount of mid-time. Laird's going to be 80% mid. Bond maybe not quite as much, but obviously, the scoring power. And Tom Green just looks primed for a big season. Whether or not he lasts the journey, we'll see. But I think he's really going to perform well, especially with the fixture that the Giants have early. Hopper, I've been saying a lot in the Discord, just temper your expectations, I guess, with him. Don't expect hundreds and triple figure average. I think it's going to be somewhere in the 90s. He's not going to probably kill you if you don't have him, and vice versa, but I still think it's someone we should be picking. It's just the role's too good. He's going to get most, 70 plus mid-time, and you just got to pick something like that at 330k, but do temper your expectations. Ashcroft, obviously a lock. Cam McKenzie really put his hand up and played well in the first game of the weekend, and really impressed. So I really am pretty keen to pick him and field him. Obviously, there's just mid-time there up for grabs, and he took it with 2 hands. So I think Sammy will play him early, and obviously we hope he performs well in the role. I think Will Phillips as well. Don't take much from playing against the Dogs mids, but he's gonna get some decent mid-time, and I think that's quite fieldable. But Oscar Baker as well played really, really well on a wing for the Bulldogs, obviously in a big win. But I think he's quite fieldable as well, judging off that performance, but not someone I'd want, to rely on every week. So not bad to be M9. And then, as I said with McVie before, and Alwyn Davies, one that, really impressed, but may not have quite the tank to run out games. So for now, he's on my mid-bench. But as I was saying, it's just with the structure of that, do you go the 2 big guys, 700k spend up? They're obviously going to drop quite a bit of money, or do you go down to a Warple, have another forward like Cogs, or you could obviously have another defender if you want. You could keep McLean here and go back to the back line if you really like the day costs or something. Maybe you want to get rid of McKenna. You don't even have to. You can get rid of someone like Chincotta. It might be close. You might have to. Oh no, you can't just afford that team, and have Dacos on there and have 3 premium defenders and bat a bit deeper there. So there's some flexibility there. I think 11 premium is going to be the most popular. I think I saw George do a poll today just recently, and I think it was pretty neck and neck between 12 and 11. I think going down to 10 is probably too much. So it just really depends how much you value those midfielders, mid prices, and what you value them at as picks individually, and whether you want them in your team, or do you want to just stick with sort of 12 premium and more guns and rookies. If you're confident in a few of those rooks, you're going to be fielding through that, right? So, Constable, I think, is pretty good. Will Phillips, people might have pushed him to the bench if they're going with 11 premium. Or Toby McLean, I think a few people might have jumped off with his score on the weekend, but I still think he's going to be good, or good enough to field at F6 for us. So that's my opinion. Move to the rucks. I think I've seen a lot of people shoot up and start to pick the big Shrek. He's now at 10%. I was just checking. So, he looked really good on the weekend. Obviously, no Jackson, but the week before even he got 75% of the ruck time. And really, as I've sort of said, maybe on previous videos, he only needs 65. He's done that in the past, that sort of ruck time, and 2 years ago and gone 118. So he's got it in him. He looks really good. Full preseason so far. Fingers crossed nothing happens in the next 10 days, but he's looking really good and primed for a big year. And Rowan Marshall, what a performance. hopefully there's no funny business with Tom Campbell, but even besides that, he just absolutely dominated in the ruck, and just looks really good. So yeah, Rowan's a lock. And then the big question is, unfortunately, with the team, all that those few setups I've shown, you don't quite have the money for Radaglia R3, so that is quite annoying. To an extent, I don't think he's going to be a world beater and make us a heap of cash. He'll obviously make some, but he is playing sort of second key defender. So, some games the intercepts just don't happen for you. And you just may not find the footy, and he's going to score some 30s, I think, 30s or 40s. So, all depends how many big games, or if any, that he puts out to exhilarate some cash gen. But the loop for now is what I've got. And then the forward line, I think Dunks, Rosie, Taranto, all locks, don't really need to talk about. It's the cogs dropping down to Goulden for me that I've done as the big move. I'm sure many of you have. What's Goulden at now? Probably should have a look in the forward line. Up to 23%. Wow. So I think he was down at 3 or 4% beforehand, maybe even less. And he's obviously jumped up quite a bit after that unbelievable game he played on the weekend with, I think, about 70% CBAs. And I think Parker was still the leading getter, and obviously no Mills or Papley. I think Papley's much, to a lesser extent. He sort of it would start in the CBA and run forward after goals and not play actually much time on the ball. But I think obviously Mills is a big one. You don't know, so it's not going to be 70% like it has been over the preseason with Goulden. But if it can be 40 or 50, that's really going to be enough, I think, for him to be a top 6 forward. The fact he did mid-80s last year with only 10%, basically none. And with 40 or 50, that could definitely improve his average about 10 or 15 points. So yeah, I'm really all over. I mean, he just looked unbelievable. You don't have 45 and kick 3 in a preseason game. And mind you, Carlton's midfield isn't chumps either. I know Cripps wasn't playing, or Walsh, but Chera, Kennedy, Georgie Hewitt's a great inside mid and defensive mid too. It wasn't against no slouches, and he absolutely dominated. So it's really hard just not to pick him at this stage. Didn't envisage myself doing so, but he just really put his hand up. Flanders I really liked, although not getting as much mid-time as we'd like. I think his role is quite set in that team. Touk will come in, whenever that is, round 1 or 2 if he's playing, but Davies was getting a lot of CBA, so he'll just take over those completely. Expect probably Davies to get dropped, and Flanders continue to play that high half forward where he rolls up to the stoppage. He found 30 touches on the weekend doing that. I think he only attended maybe 6 out of 20 something CBA, so it's 30% or something. And I think he's just a natural ball winner and can find it and gets into the right areas to do so. So I just think he's going to be a decent pick, and I'm happy to pick him. And as I said, McLean before, so. Right now, that's sort of what I'm looking at. I guess it's ended up sort of being a team reveal. But there are obviously other things you can do. You can drop down to one premium defender like I previously had. You might have to move McVee there and then grab another mid. But what that does is push Will Phillips to the bench, and obviously you might have to find some cash somewhere, but it obviously only lets you pick, say, like a Jack Steele, for instance. You pick your players how you want. But that does push Will Phillips to the bench, and I'm not totally sure I love that. I think he's going to be a good fieldable option, and even Oscar Baker himself as well. So, it depends what you do. Let me know how many guys have got Goulden now after his game on the weekend, up at 23%. But I'll check out for now. Be a lot of discussion over the next 10 days or so until round 1. But yeah, jump in the Discord as well. There's going to be a lot of leagues happening, within the community. People can, advertise those, and just general discussion up until round 1. And exciting times. The game's really, I think they took it out of us a bit on the weekend with just the sheer amount of guys that were putting their hand up. Liam Jones had a great game, 200k in defence. Crozier as well until he got injured. Plenty of guys, some other rookies like Finn Callahan in the midfield. Tanner Bruin as well, the one I didn't speak about. I've seen a lot of people in the cord jump on. Like, there's just a lot to think about. Some people sending teams with 10 premiums in them and all these mid prices. So I don't think don't go too nuts. But really the big call is 11 or 12 now, I think, and you really just got to weigh up those mid prices and what you think about them as picks individually. and what it means for your team, what rookies you're on field. You got to really think about that. Are you going to be leaking any points? You know, you don't want to really be fielding someone like I don't know, Fergus Green or Alwyn Davey at F6. Really, like, and even you don't want to be left too light in defense as well. You know, so yeah, we'll talk more about that in the coming days. But just wanted a little update on what I'm thinking and how I'm deciphering this preseason. You know, it's been pretty hard. You know, it's thrown up a lot of spanners, a lot of blokes. So I'll jump off. Speaking too much already, but let me know what you think in the comments, and we'll see you on the next video. Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Got the mojo deals, we been tripping like the 80s. Pulling out the coupe at the lot.